Welcome to Tech Talks again. Today I have Nonso, a co-founder of Trade Buzza. Trade Buzza is an organization that leverages technology to help people in the commodity space, particularly agriculture, reach their potential. And Nonso, tell us more about Trade Buzza, but first of all, why you took the leap from whatever you were doing, which you will tell us, to this, and how successful it has been, and if you have any regrets.
So we started Trade Buzza a couple of years ago. Before then, I was working with Venture Garden Group in the power sector focused entity PowerTech. I was a project manager and had to do some work with the transmission company where we had to build a platform which they leverage for their energy trade at the wholesale level. That experience just helped me get interested in commodities trade across different sectors. I mean, yeah, doing that in power sector was energy, commodity, but then there was oil and gas, there was other commodities. And looking at all of these different industries, decided to focus on agriculture because of a number of reasons, because of its impact on the GDP across sub-Saharan Africa. And then two, because the barrier to entry was quite low.
Nothing to do with profitability or potential of making money, more money from there.
I mean, so of course, that was part of it. Well, you have to be able to, do that and achieve that as easily as possible. And that was where our interest in agro-commodities trade came about. But then trying to leverage our core, which was technology, to build a platform to help facilitate agro-commodities trade was what we were now looking to achieve. But then speaking with key players in the industry, across financiers for these commodities trade, across different players, and then also leveraging on some of the experience of my co-founder Okwe, who was at the time working on some fund that was financing different players, especially guys in the bottom of the pyramid. Yeah, so we stumbled on a core problem, which was digitization of the operations of the key players in the supply side of the market. These are agribusinesses who aggregate thousands of smallholder farmers, and that's where we decided to start with.
Question. I mean, these are people that have been doing things a particular way.
Exactly.
Now you're coming and telling them that, we have a better way to do that. How easy or how hard was it? What were the challenges in trying to convince them that your way would be of great benefit to them?
It was an interesting engagement. Our very first client, Malam Yunusa, runs an outgrass scheme, a rice outgrass scheme, manages thousands of smallholder farmers. We started with a simple question: Malam, what keeps you up at night? So that was how we basically started building. In fact, we built out our MVP, by interacting with Malam. And what that helped with was that at the end of the day, after we launched, for almost every other outgrass scheme or aggregator we engaged, we had captured most of the key components of what they needed in the platform.
So tell me, so break it down for us so that people will understand exactly the value that you bring into the ecosystem. How does it work? I mean, you digitize it, but what does that mean to the layman?
Okay, so I'll talk about another client of ours, Alhaji Dambaba, runs an outgrass scheme in Jigawa. They have about 6,000 smallholder farmers in the network. Before we came around, Alhaji's smallholder farmers, they had extension agents who they engaged.
What are extension agents?
Oh, sorry. These are field.
We're laymen, yeah.
Yeah. So these are field agents who are tasked with ensuring the farmers do the right thing at the right time, and then basically ensuring the farmers follow best practices, what they call good agricultural practices. But then how they go about it is there are different steps or sets of activities that go on during the course of a farming season, from pre-planting down to harvest. And then for every activity, the field agents or extension agents have to ensure that each farmer that they are in charge of does the right thing at the right time. Now, why this is important is because someone like Alhaji Dambaba or his company probably got a loan from a bank or from a DFI and has provided input loans to the smallholder farmers. So he needs to ensure these farmers do the right thing at the right time so that at the end of the day, their standards for quality and quantity are met. And the only way he ensures that happens is if he has extension agents who go to check on these farmers. But then before Trade Buzza, the extension agents had to use logbooks to track what the farmers are doing and stuff. Of course, as you can imagine, it was easy to come up with fictitious information.
Just managing that whole extension network would have been a nightmare.
Exactly.
And of course, outdated data.
Exactly.
Because by the time they get it and collate it, it's
too late.
It's too late.
You can't proactively resolve any issue. And what happens is, at the end of the day, they feel it, based on losses that they incur, right? So what we basically did was built a web and mobile application for them. The mobile application is what the field agents use to replace their papers and logbooks, and then the web application is what the outgrower, the back office staff, or the key decision makers use to manage different activities.
So this means that now Alhaji has visibility of what's going on.
Exactly.
So he can see it real time, unlike before where he would have to wait, and then he can take proactive steps.
Exactly. And he can view it at the per farmer level. He can see what the agents are doing. And it's geolocation enabled, so he can know if an agent even sat in his house to report fictitious information about the farmers.
What else, apart from it providing insights and valuable real-time information to the outgrower, how do you leverage that data?
Right now, we currently have different aggregators managing over 75,000 smallholder farmers on our platform. The plan is to try and increase the numbers as fast as possible. Also, last year we were in the Google Launchpad Accelerator, right? What that also means is that we are able to, engage with Google as a partner and leverage some of their tech resources to see how we can make the most of the data that we have. And in terms of, plans for how we can leverage the data, there are a couple of things in the works. Our Trade Buzza intelligence engine that would leverage satellite imagery and a couple of other third-party data services to be able to provide more insights to our clients, the agribusinesses who are using the platform. Also, being able to leverage that data around the activities of farmers, the eventual yield, to be able to provide some form of yield index analysis for insurance companies, or some form of insight for commodities traders who need crop production information to be able to trade commodities. These are commodities derivatives traders, as well as banks or DFIs who need that kind of information for their agri-lending engagements. So that's like in the medium term what we're looking at, providing as regards data and data products for the different clients that we're looking at.
So you actually effectively answered the last question that I was going to ask you, which was, so what are the plans for Trade Buzza? Now I'll ask you the last question, which is, all this that you have mentioned and just trying to scale the business and create awareness requires a lot of resources. So how are you funding this beyond your seed capital?
Yeah, so of course, we've gotten a whole lot of help along the way. Some of our investors have basically put up the initial capital to fund our operations. Some of our investors include Itana, which is the corporate venture capital arm of Honeywell, Passion Incubator, as well as some Japanese investors to Kepo Funds. So,
which is a validation and endorsement to what you're doing, since they're international and local investors as well.
Investors and investors who have influence within the space we're playing as well. So that's critical for us. We've also been able to earn some revenue that will go a long way in helping us fund our operations. And so
thank you very much for coming on Tech Talks. Very interesting conversation, and we'll continue the conversation offline.
All right.
Thank you.